Hello, friends. Welcome into another episode of Trust the Tape. It's good to see you. My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
And I'm hanging out with former Cowboy scout man with the Super Bowl ring, the greatest drafter of all time, the great and powerful Bryan Broaddus from Crown Global Media, which you should follow on YouTube.
Hey, Bri.
Hey, Bri.
Hello, Jeffrey. Thank you for that.
How you doing, brother?
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Somebody asked in the chat, they said, did Jeff remember to watch the film of Lineman that he told Bryan he would? I'll tell you what, some of them. Yeah. I told him I'd watch like 6 offensive linemen. That was a little much.
2, 3. Okay.
3.
That's good. You're off.
3.
You're off to a good start. So you watched 2 Utahs and a Miami is what you did.
I watched a Miami, a Utah, and an Alabama, actually.
Oh, you watched Proctor. You watched Proctor there.
I watched Proctor. Well, 360 is different. There's an Alabama offensive tackle who is 360 pounds, and I got to tell you, I like him.
Yeah. No, he is it is when you watch him play, and usually some of these guys, and I have a history of, and the 2 Utah offensive tackles are both lighter guys, and I have a problem with guys that don't have great strength or great power. But these Utah guys are really, really athletic. The thing with Proctor is, and I 366, I mean, you see a guy that really moves well. The power, the point of attack, the strength, the movement. I mean, just by coming off the ball, you see that movement. And he could be a really difficult guy to deal with because of the way that he plays. I mean, the guy can anchor down. He can finish blocks. I mean, he's got a nasty demeanor to him. He punishes defenders. I really like, for a guy that size, the lateral agility, the quickness. There's people that will kind of maybe say, at that size, is it a problem? Emeritus Mims, remember him? Yep. Donovan Smith. Yep. Those are the guys that kind of come to mind when you start talking about these massive offensive tackles. But 6'7", 366, man, just it's very clear when you watch him. And think about putting him and maybe Booker on the same side of your team. I mean, that's that kind of power, and you wonder why. Not you wonder. You now know why Alabama has always had such success with the way they move the football.
Yeah, I like big people. I like big people that being big doesn't hurt them much.
No, there's big guys. Yeah, they can't. Yeah, there's some big guys that can't go, but he's one of them that can go. Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, we're getting going. It is Cowboys draft season. So if you're in here to hear a breakdown of the Lions film, I don't know if you're of the Vikings film, I don't know if you're going to get it. But if you're here and you're ready to start Cowboys draft season, we are here for that, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have draft questions, you can fire them in. If you want to know about more than 13 players, I'll direct the question to Broaddus. If you want to know about more than 40 players, then we will write them down and we'll get back to you. Roman Wolf Gaming is in the super chat. Double dip with Styles and then trade down for CJ Allen. Then with a new acquired pick, get Kenyatta Jackson, D-end, or CJ Allen and David Bailey combo for first. So we're already just throwing out random names, which we are not. Well, we are not.
Well, the Jackson one I haven't seen.
And the rest of them, what we're not going to do is just throw out names. Okay. Sonny Styles. Bailey is Ohio State's linebacker. He's kind of the only linebacker they have now because they started putting their other one, who's going to be a really high draft pick, Arvell Reese, down at the line of scrimmage. And they're kind of just playing with one linebacker, and his name is Sonny Styles, and he's 6'4", and he's 240, and he's a freaky athlete, and I love him. You need to know that. Yeah. David Bailey is a Texas Tech edge player that is more of a pass rusher than anything else. It's super fun and super quick and getting after the quarterback and towards the top of the country in sacks and pressures. And he's a fun player.
I think the thing about David Bailey is what he is. He is one of those guys, though. You talk about it 6'3", 250, and he is a very bendy guy. And that's, when you're looking at some of these edges, and maybe, for example, our guy at Auburn, Falk, and Falk is 6'6" and 285, and it's a different body type. And so when you're looking at these guys, there's some guys that have some bigger size. Bain from Miami, 6'3", 275. Bailey, a little bit more what we've seen, kind of the traditional edges now with the the thinness to him and stuff like that. But man, he could swipe, rip, spin. He does everything. I mean, the bend we're talking about, he puts pressure on the blocker. He can attack a corner. What happens to him is sometimes he'll get tall. And when he tries to fight the blocker that way, that is a problem. I mean, there's snaps where you see him struggle to set the edge. I was observing the Utah game, of course, because of the two tackles they have. BYU tends to have some big power guys like that. So he's got to be careful about playing tall and not jumping around blocks. But if you're looking for a bendy type of an athlete, this is a guy for you right there.
Can I ask you a random question, Brian?
Sure.
How much stock do you put in a single game that you watch a player play on tape? And I'll tell you why I'm asking. Because you know me, I don't want to watch the offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
I want to watch nothing but receivers and corners. And I can watch some linebackers and maybe some safeties. I don't want to watch the offensive linemen, but I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so in looking around for the guys that I'm going to watch, you will see other people's rankings. My offensive line rankings will not look like other people's offensive line rankings. Because the first thing that I will try to do is I will try to find the tape going against the best competition I can find on guys.
That's the way scouting works. Yeah.
So the first offensive lineman I watched was number 1 on multiple people's lists, and it's Utah's right tackle, Spencer Fano. And so the first game I watched was him playing against Texas Tech because that's the best defensive line that they played against. And I don't think he played very well. Then I watched him play a couple other games against other teams, and I watched him look incredible. And so how much stock do you put in?
Yeah.
Well, the best guy. And he really didn't struggle much, maybe a little bit, with Bailey, the number 31 from Tech. But a guy who wears number 9, who I haven't looked up, gave him trouble. And some other random guy who I don't know who he is gave him trouble. And so how much – because I put –
There's a kid named Height. Yeah, Height is the other guy at Texas Tech. Height.
So I won't have the Utah offensive tackle as one of my top 2. I like the Miami guy better, and I like Caden Proctor at Alabama better already. Am I crazy? Am I putting too much into one football game?
No, it's fine. You could do that. I mean, I think to me the thing with Fano, and hopefully we get these names right before the time April rolls around.
Yeah, I'm going to need pronunciation guides.
Yeah, they got a lot of kids with interesting names nowadays. I think the thing about Fano is, to me, again, 6'6", 308, and you could see he's played both left and right tackle. The thing that you got to like about him is how flexible, how fluid, the body control, the balance. You don't see him on the ground. He's a run
Freaky
blocker.
Athlete.
Yeah, I mean, he's rarely out of position, and the footwork allows him to stay in position. He could get second level for you, pretty easily. The space, the fluidity, the quick twitch to explode off the ball. I really like this guy a lot. But again, I have these problems. Him and his buddy Lemieux, I think is Lemieux is
at Utah.
Yeah, Caleb Lemieux. I need to learn that one too. He's 6'6", he's 304. So you're talking about two tackles that are very athletic. One's 304, one's 308. And that's the thing where now I'm like, I struggle with. I tend to gravitate towards the guys that are 312, 315, 318. Those are the guys I kind of gravitate towards.
366 myself.
Yeah, I kind of feel, nothing wrong with the 66 and nothing wrong, but like the Miami kid, Maui Goa is
like him a lot.
He's a 315 pound guy. So yeah, there's the things about with these Utah guys with Lemieux. I'm going to say it right one of these days.
We'll get it.
Lomu.
Where the hell is Dane Brugler? I need a pronunciation.
Yeah, Dane will give it to you. This kid has some Tyler Guyton elements to his game. And I say that from an athletic standpoint. That's kind of where I'm at. But I just told you guys, I've struggled with tackles that lack power, but they play in the league forever,
Yep.
and so I'm trying to kind of tailor my game to we're having lighter offensive tackles. The Utah kids are good. Bailey's really an exceptional pass rusher. And so one game would be to the good for Bailey, maybe one game to the poor to the Utah guys. But if you watch the Texas Tech games and the BYU and the other opponents that Utah plays, you'll get a pretty good feel for these guys.
Yeah, I felt a little bit better when I'm watching, say, the Miami offensive tackle. And so I just looked at their schedule and I said, give me Notre Dame and then give me Florida State. And nobody really gives them trouble. I watch Alabama and I said, give me Georgia, and Caden Proctor kicks their ass. I'm like, that makes me feel good.
It is. And I'm not saying this because I'm a Southeastern Conference guy. It is a little different to watch when you watch players. And now even Vanderbilt's gotten better where you could watch someone defensively have to deal with Vanderbilt, and you kind of like get a wow, okay, they're coming off Vanderbilt runs the football, with that quarterback and the way they play, and so you get a kind of an element of that physicality that you need to have, watching these defensive guys. But the path that you're taking, sometimes you're at the mercy of whatever tape you have. Right. I mean, sometimes it's just the way it is. Yeah. But man, it's always been. Throughout the history, it's always been Miami versus Florida State. Yeah, pull that film and watch. Back in the day, pull that film and watch Ed Reed play and all. Watch all these great players from the past, all the Florida State guys play. And that's the way it's always been.
And then now it's Alabama, Georgia, except now it's actually transitioned to where what you want is probably Ohio State versus somebody. Maybe.
Well, Ohio State, Texas off the rip is a good tape. But, man, you got to be careful because you're watching Styles. Styles maybe not one of his better games when it came to getting off blocks. You get to the Ohio State game in the Big Ten championship, and it's a different player. So you got to make sure. But sometimes you got to go with that August 30th tape because that's the best matchup. And nothing against Ohio University or Hawaii or anybody else that's on these schedules. Hawaii had a really good schedule. Hawaii was really good this year. But yeah, you understand what I'm saying.
No, that was shots fired. You're taking shots at somebody there with their
I'll tell you what, I will watch Ohio State versus I'll watch Oregon versus James Madison. I'll watch that.
James
tape.
Madison, I don't know if it's their official school newspaper or if it's just like a fan site, but they're doing a great bit where they're pretending that they are a blue blood and that fine, we'll play Oregon, but I just don't know if the TV ratings will be there because Oregon, not a blue blood like us. And it's a pretty good bit.
Oh, great bit.
Roman Wolf Gaming is in the super chat. He said, be okay with getting both CJ Allen and Sonny Styles. CJ Allen is the middle linebacker at the University of Georgia. Sonny Styles is the middle linebacker at Ohio State University. Totally different sizes, totally different players, but both good linebackers.
Watching this past game against the Vikings, where's your edges? You going to look at any of these edges?
Yeah.
I don't think defensive tackle, maybe not. I think every other position on the Cowboys defensive side of the ball. And again, when we get in the draft, we'll kind of talk about all the players and how they fit.
Yeah.
But if you specifically look at the Dallas Cowboys, you have to throw edges in there now, don't you? One of the reasons you lost that game was you could not get any pressure on this quarterback.
Yeah, I think not only do you throw it in there, I think it might be their biggest priority.
Tell me about it.
Looking at the Cowboys roster, and I think on our initial draft show, this is a good topic. I think looking at what their roster is going to look like a year from now, Jadeveon Clowney's probably, I would assume he was on a 1-year deal. I can double check it. He might have done a weird 2-year deal, but I assume he's on a 1-year deal. I think your only edge player on the entire roster that is going to play and help you is Ezraku. I think there's one guy.
And listen, Ezraku, and this is where I'm wrong. I didn't think the learning curve for him would be that steep because we saw pass rush at a high level, playing against good competition.
Yeah.
He's been a much better run defender, but he has not won on the outside as a pass rusher like I thought he would.
Nope.
And maybe and it's not a slam on the kid, but his splits are different. Where I thought coming out of college, good run defender, really good pass rusher.
Right.
Now he's a good run defender and an okay pass rusher. I haven't seen the Donovan Ezra-Rocco. I've seen some pressures, but I haven't seen it consistently enough. I know the metrics tell me that, but the eye test doesn't tell me a lot of pressures, a lot of finish.
I agree with you. And I know we all see the same numbers. Like if you go by his pass rush win rate,
him
and,
and Carter, they always talk about, one's better. I'm not going to act like I've seen Carter play every game, but I'll tell you what, I've watched Donovan Ezra-Rocco every snap he's played, and I thought he was one of the best 3 pass rushers in the country last year.
Sure.
Him, Carter, Green, him. I thought he was. And I said, boy, this guy's going to come in. There's going to be 6, 7, 8 sacks potentially in that body.
Yeah.
Have not seen that this year. Have not seen that.
Yeah. And I think the returns on him for a 2nd-round pick have been okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
And then going into next year, like I'll have optimism that guy can be one of your 2 best pass rushers. The thing is they don't have the other one and they don't have anything. They have nothing.
They don't.
They got nothing at defensive end right now.
Yeah.
And so not only
that's why Howell from Texas A&M, we're gonna get into some of these edges. Get ready for that.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is that is a premium position.
Yeah.
And like that matters. So like to me, and you can tell me if I'm crazy because you've actually drafted before, and I'm just a person with a Vach camera and a Vach mic. The balance that I think you're supposed to have in a draft is, do your needs matter? Sure, they matter. But the higher the pick, the less you can try to jam a need because you're just going to make a mistake if you're not picking your best players. But also you look at how much does each position make in the NFL? They're telling you how valuable each position is, right? The best pass rushers, that number is now $47 million.
Mm-hmm.
The best safeties, linebackers, running backs. Okay, now we're doing a $15 million position. Mm-hmm. We're talking about 3 times more value when I have a guy on a rookie contract. If he's a stud pass rusher, that's $40-something million of production I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
And so having it as a need and having it as a premium position, boy, we're going to be talking about edge players. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Because early on, I think you look at, the Cowboys are really bad at linebacker. There's nothing there. Leafau was a miss. Logan Wilson technically is under contract.
We think that the things that happen. I'm sorry, Jeff. I totally interrupt you. Go ahead with your thought there.
You kind of have Overshown, who so far in his return, I would say he looks okay. You see kind of the same stuff where he's kind of straight line and doesn't always hit the brakes and but he moves well physically. He looks like he's come back from those surgeries okay. Yeah. So I think I can count on him being one of them, and we need one. Okay. And so now everybody's mock drafting a linebacker with the Cowboys' first pick. From a value standpoint, that's really bad. Mm-hmm. And so you have to get to a point where you say, for instance, I'm a big Sonny Styles fan, Ohio State linebacker. You have to get to a point where you say, all right, we're picking 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm picking Sonny Styles, boy, he better be the best player on your board. Mm-hmm. And it better not be that close. Because if you've got a guy who plays a position that's 3 times more valuable and you're picking a linebacker or you're picking a safety, you're leaving a lot of value on the board.
Well, the thing about it,
better be your 3rd best player.
No, you're right. But the thing about it is they're open to taking anybody on defense other than I think a defensive tackle.
Right.
I mean, if to me, any one of those positions, and this is where my beliefs come in about value and stuff like that. I've always just believed, give me the best player. Just give me the best player. Whoever the best player is on your board, that's a safety, a corner, an edge, a linebacker, that's the guy you need to take. I don't have time for you, and I'm not saying this is a slam to you. I don't have time for your positional value chart. I really don't. My defense is struggling bad because it doesn't have enough guys that make plays. So if you tell me on defense, and now you got to weigh this against the tackle. You got to weigh this against the offensive tackle is what you got to do. Is the offensive tackle, and this is going to be a conversation for the next 3-4 months, is the offensive tackle more valuable or more important than the corner, the safety, the linebacker, the edge? That's where Dallas is in a position where if they take their best player in that first pick and then kind of go a need on the second one or move that thing back so they have some day 2 picks, that's the best you can ask right now. They at least have some flexibility to do some things, but the defensive positions are going to be weighed against an offensive tackle in this, and I think in this draft for them.
Now, can I ask you a question, Brian?
Mm-hmm. You always can.
I thought this past offseason, if they had any sort of plan for what they were going to do about it, that Terence Steele was a prime post-June 1 cut candidate this last offseason. I've gone through this whole year thinking, much like Diggs, that it's a foregone conclusion that Steele is gone this offseason.
Sure.
With the number of things they need, could they be backing themselves into Guyton, Steele, or your tackles?
Oh, backing into keeping Steele.
Yeah.
Sure.
As opposed to creating another need. I know we're not big fans of his pass protection, but we've also seen
or compete Nate Thomas or compete Nate Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or compete Nate Thomas. And whoever's better between Steele and Nate Thomas will be that guy. You know? I have a feeling though, if they move on, tackle becomes we opened the show talking about offensive tackles.
Yeah.
And and the availability for one,
SRT, straight sleeper. David Bailey or
sleeper.
Jacob, don't sleep on them. Yes, I'm a Tech fan. That's Jacob Rodriguez, the Heisman
Yeah.
finalist, is the linebacker from Texas Tech, and David Bailey, their pass rusher.
I'll tell you, Zach Wolchuk cannot say enough things about Rodriguez. And I know every time I've got him on my list of here to do, I've got some guys some time this afternoon to be able to knock out some guys. Height is also an edge rusher from Texas Tech. Joey McGuire's done a tremendous job with his roster.
That's my guy,
money.
Coach. I'm a DM him about these players. I'm gonna get you the scoop.
Oh no, I talked to him the other day. I got him on our show the other day. Yeah, Joey and I go way, way back. Yeah.
You stole my guy.
Oh no, I stole your guy. Yeah, I stole your guy. Yeah, Joey's. You want his phone number? You have to DM him. I give you his phone number if you want his phone number.
I can get it from. I should probably get it from him instead of from you. I think that'd probably be the better way to go about it.
I'd tell him I gave my phone number. I gave his phone number to Jeff Cavanaugh. I would tell him that. I never give anybody's phone number out unless I ask them first. That guy.
It is nice to. That just made me think of the Josina Anderson tweet when you said I'd never give somebody's phone number out. She tweeted out like something about the Jets, and like the direct quote from a source was just between me and you. And like she pasted the whole quote. I'm like, it says right there, it's just between y'all. But anyway.
Joey, Texas Tech, great job out there. Best of luck to them in the playoffs. It's a little bit disappointing that they didn't get to play at the Cotton Bowl. I think that would have been a lot of fun for folks. I think I might have showed up for that one just to show up and get the atmosphere in.
Oh, I was about to. Let me not forget something very important about this show today, Brian. There's something very important that I'd like to tell you.
Oh, we're going to underdog this thing, huh?
Yeah. Did you not know that football season? Did you know that football season's in full swing and that Underdog is the best way to get in on the action?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me get their logo up. I never remember.
Best logo in the league.
Isn't it pretty sweet? Look at
it's beautiful logo. Beautiful logo. I wish I would have thought of that. I wish I would have thought of that one myself.
That's nice. I love the little dog with the cape.
Yeah.
And our friends at Underdog, you do get the hookup when you use the promo code TAPE when you sign up. You download the Underdog app and you use the promo code TAPE because you're watching Trust the Tape. And you get the hookup. And all you got to do is pick whether you think your favorite players are going to go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. You get the picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. That's all it is. That's all it is. I like to do some straight hating. I like to
I
think
know.
I did pick J.J. McCarthy to go more than his passing yards, and I nailed that one because
That was a win.
Cowboys
That was a
defense
win.
play.
Yeah. As that
Download
ball
the app
sailed
today.
over Carson's head.
Yep. Download the app today. Use the promo code TAPE, TAPE, and you'll get $75 in bonus entries when you play that first $5. The promo code is TAPE, and that is our friends at Underdog, where all you got to do with our friends at Underdog is make picks and win some money. So go ahead and do it. Oh, what if I didn't sneak that in? I would have to sneak it in on Friday, but we got her done. Williams in the super chat, he said, wouldn't a competent team use free agency to fill some of the positions?
Oh, no,
And
there's no question. No question. Yeah, I agree with William here. I think this is going to be an aggressive free agency period for Dallas. I don't think they're going to bottom fish this thing.
That's a reckless thing to say.
You know what? Jerry Jones is 82 years old.
He was 81 last offseason. He's 80,
yeah,
he's
no, his team wasn't very good. And he made that trade for Quinnen Williams and stuff like that. No, I think he's starting to hear everybody on all these platforms talk about the amount of time between appearances and championship games and Super Bowls and all that stuff.
You talking about that little drought?
Little drought, about 30 years. About 30 years. Like the last time they were, I won the Super Bowl. I was on a Super Bowl team right after they won their last Super Bowl. And now I'm a 62-year-old man. That was a long time ago. So yes, I would say that you need to find a way to be better in free agency and go after some of these cats. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I think he will.
Fill some of them needs. And not by trading for failed people who have been in the NFL for 3 years that have already failed.
Mingo had a nice catch the other day, though.
What's that?
Mingo had a nice catch the other day. First one he had.
Let's go, Mingo. Thanks for the draft talks, gent. The Cowboys' only hope is to hit the lottery in the draft, go forth, and find some draft treasure. It's true.
They will draft, and I bet you they play some in free agency. You know, a lot depends on who the defensive coordinator is, too, by the way. You know, I would go. I mean, if you told me after watching Bryan Broaddus for a week, study that and see him live, what he does, holy jeez! And he's a free agent. I might call his agent. Who's his guy? Jimmy Sexton. Who's his agent? Who are you talking about? Talking about the defensive coordinator at Bryan Broaddus is up his contract.
Oh, Jerry ain't hiring him.
Oh. Well, because of the lawsuit. I don't know all the details of the NFL lawsuit.
I just think that Bryan Broaddus has a big market, and Jerry's cheap is what I think. That's what I think.
I'll tell you one thing. If I got my ass handed to me by somebody, I'm going to find a way to saddle up to that guy.
Sure.
That's the old if you can't beat him, join him bit. That cat right there, he is you talk about putting players in position. Yeah. He made your quarterback, and I say this respectfully, made your offensive coordinator, play caller look silly. He made your quarterback look silly. He made your offensive line coach look a little silly. Yeah.
He kicked your butt on third down for show. Cowboy execution is in here. He said can't get groceries if the coaches can't cook. We're gonna get rid of Eberflus. I think. I hope.
No. I think I do, and I'll say this, and I hope people if you follow me on all my platforms, you know, I think this is going to come from Shoddy. I think that Brian Schottenheimer is going to walk in there and he's saying, we need to move on from our coordinator. I don't think it's going to be a Jerry Jones thing. I think it's going to be Brian Schottenheimer walking in there and saying it himself. That's where I think this is going to come down.
That would be lovely. Dirk's in the super chat. If they could trade back some to pick up a day 2 pick, are there any OTs on day 2 you've seen that you think could be an impact starter? I've only seen 3 guys, so I can't help you. Brian, how deep are you on the offensive tackles?
Yeah, I could go pretty deep with you.
Get you a day 2 guy you like?
Yeah, you know what's funny is I actually have Proctor. I have Proctor in the second myself is what I have. And I mean, but I've got so far 13 first-round grades without doing quarterbacks. So Proctor is going to be in that range of, probably 15 to 18, something like that for me. There's a kid named Caleb Tyrion from Northwestern. You might need to keep an eye on. He's a left tackle again here, but he's 325 pounds, 6'7". He's a starter at left tackle for Northwestern. He's been a left tackle, right tackle. He's made a lot of starts on the left side. He's got some light-footedness to his game. He doesn't look 325 pounds on tape, but he carries his weight well. He tends to get a little top-heavy, but these are guys that you're kind of, when you're starting to talk about, okay, now they're going to have some warts to him. But man, he gets in really good football position. But the longer he tends to go, maybe he loses a little bit of some connection with his guys. And so, but he's a guy that's kind of that second, third round offensive tackle. Some people have this guy a lot higher, potentially like a first round tackle. I kind of feel like that he's more in that second or third range.
Lucas is in the super chat. He's a young 19-year-old man, Brian, who wants to become a scout. And this is unfair pressure to put on you during a live show. He said, I was wondering if I could send you my scouting reports and get some feedback. I can drop my email in the chat. If you have time, I'd really appreciate it. Love y'all. That's an unfair request, but it was a $50 super chat. So I had to read it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If you want to, I mean, can you send them to you, Jeff, and forward them to me or something like that, or however that works?
Yeah.
Listen, let me be real honest about being a scout. And he's a 19-year-old kid. Is that what you said?
19 years old.
Yeah. Okay. So now we got college ahead, right? What you need to do, hopefully you could get to be a part of, if your college has a football program, this is how I went about it. If your college has a football program, try and get into the recruiting office. Try and find a way and go in there and say, hey, I'd love to be a student assistant. I'd love to be an NFL scout one day. I'd like to learn about recruiting. I'd like to learn about player evaluation. This is where, when you're in a college program, then you get to meet NFL scouts. You get to meet NFL general managers. You get to meet people. You get to be the liaison between the athletic department and the NFL. And that's how you work and build relationships. And then all of a sudden, then you maybe get an opportunity to go, I got to work in the World League. We have the UFL. We have other things that are kind of opportunities, but get into recruiting somehow and then figure out how to kind of evaluate, keep your stuff going. I remember when Dane Brugler got his start. Dane was working as a PR guy in minor league baseball, and he came on, started working with Ed Cahill, myself, and the Draft Show. And then, boom, just took off from there. He was selling basically the beast out of his trunk for $7.
Yeah.
And now he's a nationally recognized draft analyst and one of the better ones in the league. But he started off kind of just hammering away, getting a start, getting noticed. His reports were good. They were very detailed. He had an opinion. But you need to go and get experience as a young man, potentially, if you could get into college and work for your team and get that evaluation that way.
Let's knock out these last couple super chats real quick. How'd you feel if you fire Flus and see what White Cotton gives? I'll fire Flus and see what anyone gives. I couldn't care less who they let try to call defensive play. I'd be fine with that. That'd be great. Marcus says, let's get Wade Phillips or Wink in here. Wade was at the game. Saw pictures of Wade at the game. You know who I'm interested in, and I have no idea if he wants to coach in the NFL ever again? What about Matt Patricia?
I tell you what, Matt. But that's an odd man front, is what that is. He can morph that thing into a couple of different things. If I'm Matt Patricia, I'm not gonna lie to you here, Jeff. I never do.
It's turned down.
I don't leave Ohio State. I don't leave Ohio State, man. I am not leaving. You're getting me first round guys every year to coach. Yeah. I ain't going to coach at some place that's got worse talent than what I was coaching at Ohio State. No,
that's fair.
Hell no. Matt Patricia would be a very good name to talk about, though.
Yeah.
Kind of
Brian.
Enjoy your day. Yeah.
Everybody go make sure you're following Crown Global Media on YouTube so you see the things that Brian is putting out, Brian and Botch and a gang of others, as new content is on the horizon as well. Just make sure you're following it. Thank you, Brian. I'll see you next time.
Sounds great, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Remember to trust the tape, okay? Remember to be cool to everybody. You have no idea what anybody's going through, all right? So we love you. Be easy.